When y'all leave the US and you come back, that 10 that you saw is now 5. That 10 that you saw wears too much makeup, got an attitude, their pH level is off, they don't want to cook, because that's a wife duty, they don't want to clean, not a slave type stuff. You leave and you come back, you're 5. These other women in these other countries, they will cook, they will clean, their pH level is not off, they don't wear 50 pounds of makeup on their faces. They're way more feminine. Get a passport, get out, it's that bad. Don't waste your time on American women. Don't even argue with them. Don't even talk to them because it's a waste of time. Leave. Promise you that 10 that you saw is now 5.
Yes, as men, we're attracted to women's beauty, but that's not the only thing we're attracted to. We're attracted to femininity in totality. That's the thing that we're attracted to the most, femininity. So when a woman is not feminine enough, she's like pretty but masculine, that joint actually kind of make her like unattractive. You know what I'm saying? Or a gold digger.
Way over town. That digs on
all those things, unattractive. So what do y'all think about that? And here's the thing about the whole passport thing, because I believe in I got a passport myself. You know what I mean? I always making videos, and I make comedy about it or make jokes about having a passport. I got a passport and I always show in my videos. The only thing that I'll say I don't like about a passport, or not a passport, what I don't like about traveling outside the country or to find your significant other, the only thing I really don't like about it is really the language barrier. I don't like the fact that I could find a beautiful, submissive, calm, nurturing, loving, caring woman in another country, then she's going to be difficult to relate with her. I'm saying, because like we don't listen to the same music, or we don't talk about the same type of topics, or I'm saying like she can hardly understand me. I can hardly understand her. Certain jokes I won't even be able to make towards her. I even would think this too, like, dang, does she even really like me? Because like in my mind, I'm thinking like, say I marry a Filipino woman, right? She's probably going to relate more, not probably, she will relate more with the Filipino man. So if she meets a Filipino man that she relates with, I might be a little insecure, just being real. Like, I might actually be a little insecure, chat, if I got married to a Filipino woman and then a Filipino man come around, he making jokes and she's laughing and stuff, or talking in their language. I don't understand what they're saying. Like, so that's the only thing about the whole passport situation I'd be thinking about, chat. Like, I don't know. I'd be thinking about that, chat.
Hey, what's good, what's good, what's good? Good Doc back again, once again. Let's lock in. Shout out to the IPA, International Passport Association, and affiliates. Link in the description area for merch, good docs, good books, all that good jazz. Description area below. Shout out to the homie Infinite Colors for touching on some particular talking points when it comes to Passport Brethren, and I kind of wanted to speak on it from the aspect of not being able to relate to your young lady abroad, or feeling that there could be a struggle or a challenge with the relations or being able to relate to your young lady abroad, all right? So first things first, I want to discuss the video that he played first. Now, a lot of what my man said in that video had a lot of strong talking points that I hear from a lot of Passport Brethren. I think he kind of mentioned "it's that bad" or made that particular phrase, and I know that's a common phrase by none other than the Passport Brethren, Passport Brother Austin Holloman, so he might be a follower of his, way of life when it comes to being a passport bro and things like that. He might subscribe to those philosophies and ideologies and shit. But when my man started breaking it down and he was saying things like, I kind of feel like the struggle would be the language barrier and not being able to relate to your young lady. I do believe that a lot of guys might feel that more so in a country like Brazil, Colombia, and places where if you don't speak Spanish or speak the language, it could be extremely difficult for you to be able to connect with your young lady. So it does encourage you to speak the language, but if you can, off the rip, you kind of find it to be a little bit more difficult to get into a relationship with a young lady you can't understand if you're really in it to try to get to know this young lady. On the flip side, if you go to a place like the Philippines where English is the second language spoken in the country, that is likely not going to be the issue, right? It's not going to be the issue because I've lived there for as long as I have, and speaking English is not an issue for the majority of the country. Yes, is some of the English broken to an extent? Absolutely. Can you come across some that struggle to speak English? Absolutely. But you also have some that are highly proficient in the English language, and you can have conversations and relate to them on that level. He also mentions the fact that not necessarily that it's a fear, but more or less it's a challenge. or something that he might feel it hard to overcome when you do find a young lady and, you know, it's hard to be able to tell them jokes or something because you feel like you guys aren't going to have the same jokes or be able to share in a, you know, a comedic moment or a humor or be able to relate to each other via a joke because, you know, maybe she doesn't understand the jokes you're saying and you don't understand the jokes that she's saying, and then this Filipino young lady happens to be around a Filipino guy and they're laughing and joking and he says that could somewhat make him feel a little insecure. Here's the truth, big dog, and this comes from anywhere in the world that I've ever lived in. The majority of the women, even us as men in the United States, we would likely choose to date our women first. In the Western world, this is true until your eyes are open, okay? This is the best way for me to put it. Most of us in the United States, Western men dated Western women. Or if you want to be more specific, most of us black men dated black women first, right? Most Filipinas dated Filipino men first, right? And once you start to dig into those relationships, you start to realize that they really don't connect like you thought that they would, or maybe these guys from Filipino standards aren't the guys that you thought that they were, or maybe they act a certain way and you don't like them and you want to expand your horizons and you want to date a foreigner man as opposed to a guy from the Western world dating Western women. They realize their attitudes and all of the shit that they do don't necessarily correlate with what you're looking for in a woman. So now you go overseas. Chances are your Filipina is not going to entertain any foreign guy if she's with you, okay? Unless you're trying to fake it and finesse you and all that shit. You know, there's ways to figure that stuff out. That's not really what this video is about. But unless you're trying to finesse you, chances are she is not going to entertain or even remotely talk to, outside of the family, of course, another Filipino guy. Because she knows for a fact that she has somebody that is probably better for her than dealing with her own home country. Because had she wanted to be with a Filipino guy, I'm pretty sure she would not have a problem getting some Filipino guy if she wanted that. But if she's been through the situations with Filipino guys and they just don't seem to work out for her, the same as us as men that come from the Western world and dealing with Western women, and we come together, we're pretty much coming together because I'm not gonna say that we've completely given up, but it's almost like saying we have completely given up on the dating options that we have in the countries that we represent. So we come together as somewhat at the day of, you know, experiencing new dating opportunities for one another. So chances are, if she is entertaining another guy or laughing at his fucking jokes and shit, that is not who you want to be with. If you see that, you have no reason to be insecure. You just need to cut that tie, right? You need to just cut that shit off, period, right? Because as a man, you got to stand on your own, right? And then, of course, you mentioned the masculinity and femininity, and that's always something that us as men look for. We look for women that carry the femininity traits, like I call it foundational femininity, as in as long as you got the basics down packed, there are a lot of things that we can work on together if that's really what it is. It's not so much training the mind as it is training a young lady so that you know what you like and she knows what you like, and vice versa, you know what she likes as well. Okay, so like I said, my brother put together some very interesting talking points, and I can understand where his reservations would come when it comes to dating foreign women. But as he mentioned Filipinas and stuff like that, and that just seems to be my little area of expertise, not necessarily calling myself an expert, I felt as though I was able to really hone in on that one, especially when it comes to the language barrier and the fact that English is a language that is highly spoken within the country. I tried to learn Bisayan, which is a language that is spoken heavy in my area of Davao City. Also try to learn to speak Tagalog. And it became difficult for me to actually learn these languages because everybody wanted to use me to practice their English. That's a little known secret that, you know, I've talked about before in videos prior. But, you know, the fact that they were speaking good English and the fact that I was able to communicate with them, I don't personally see that being an issue as a passport brother traveling to a place like the Philippines. But appreciate the content, my brother. Keep it coming. If you guys enjoyed the video, man, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. You already know what to do if you haven't already done it. Make sure y'all check out all my good shit. You know what time it is, man. Time for the good out to go and get to getting. So y'all know what it is, man. Y'all take care, man. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.